What's good, everyone? Brent here. Welcome back to another video. This week, we're still in Kevin Barnett's book, What's Your True Identity? A Superhero Devotional. Today, we'll be talking about being a true armor bearer and what that means. We're going to be looking at the life of Happy Hogan. So if you guys haven't grabbed Kevin's book yet, links are down in the description. Make sure you follow him on all of his social media accounts as well to stay up to date on everything. On his YouTube channel, he's actually going through some of these chapters from his book as well and adding more insight to this. So that'd be a really good resource. So check out his YouTube page when you guys have time to supplement what we're doing here today. So yeah, let's start with this devotional. All right, so we're talking about being a true armor bearer. This is going to be somewhat similar to what Ian talked about last week when he talked about being a true friend. And just so you guys know what an armor bearer is, back in the medieval times, back when people would fight wars back in those days, an armor bearer was someone who would carry a soldier's armor or weapons onto the battlefield. This was advantageous because the soldier would then be able to save his strength to fight the enemy and win the battle. All right, in Iron Man 2, Happy Hogan, who is Tony Stark's friend, Tony Stark's employee, pilot, chauffeur, he's the one who actually carries the Iron Man suit in that briefcase so that when something bad does occur, Tony Stark can immediately suit up and become Iron Man. It's just a whole lot more convenient. So let's talk about what makes a good armor bearer. So the first thing that makes a good armor bearer is that a good armor bearer always has your back, right? They're always around and they're always there until the end. In the devotional, Kevin talks about King Saul's armor bearer. And King Saul's armor bearer was a really, really good guy. He had King Saul's back. The story goes is that King Saul and the Israelite army, they were surrounded by the enemy. There was no way out. Battle was looking really bad. And Saul's armor bearer was beside Saul during King Saul's last moments of life. King Saul did not make it out of that battle. And one of King Saul's most trusted people, his armor bearer, was there during his last moments of life. And I'm going to ask you guys this question. Do you have someone like that in your life? Not so much, would die for you, things like that. It's not that bleak. But someone who is always there for you, not only during the best times of your life, but when things are looking really bad, when you're up against the wall, when you don't know what to do, when things are falling apart. Do you have someone like that who will stay with you no matter what? A couple weeks ago, I talked about accountability. And I told you guys that Ian is one of my accountability partners, and Ian, he always has my back the same way that I have his. Second thing about an armor bearer is that armor bearers carry or bear your burden, right? This is, fancy Christian talk for someone who is able to not only sympathize and empathize with you, but will walk through life with you, and who, can help you deal with some of the struggles and some of the problems that you guys have. So about 8 years ago, I started nursing school. And this was a long 2.5-year process, very arduous. I put in a lot of work. I missed out on a lot of stuff. It was very stressful, but well worth it. And the guys in my accountability group, so Sean, Ernie, Alberto, Hayden, and Raymond, they were there for that. Now, none of them helped me study. They weren't going in nursing school, with me. But they were there to support me, to pray for me, to encourage me, to check in on me. And I was able to get through 2.5 years of nursing school because they were there to shoulder that load with me. And, I'm a nurse because of them. And then lastly, a good armor bearer allows people to do what they do better. So I talked earlier about how an armor bearer allows a fighter to save his strength and energy to fight in the battles, right? So imagine if you're a soldier and you had to march however so many miles to get to the battlefield. So the sun is beating down on you, you're walking however so many miles, and you have to carry your own armor. By the time you get to the battlefield, you're tired. There's no way that you can win this fight. So, the army knew that having armor bearers to take that load off of the soldiers was necessary for them to win fights. Guys, what you do as an armor bearer is essential, right? And other people, need your efforts, need the work that you do so that they can do what they do effectively and so they can do their job well. You make life easier for people. So Kevin puts it this way, and I'm going to have to quote this. An armor bearer provides strength and peace for his or her leader and anticipate what they will do next. So in Iron Man 2, Whiplash ends up infiltrating the racetrack. Tony Stark is driving one of the cars in that race, and Happy Hogan immediately notices that something isn't right. He drives in onto the racetrack with the Iron Man suitcase right before Tony Stark gets destroyed by one of Whiplash's electrical whips. And Tony's able to suit up and defeat Whiplash, and Whiplash gets taken into custody. This was all made possible because Happy Hogan did his job. He held on to the suit, he was there when needed, and that allowed Tony Stark to turn into Iron Man to not only save his life, but to prevent the damage to other people and to the racetrack, and they were able to capture Whiplash. So, guys, when you're an armor bearer, you do all these things behind the scene, but what you do is so important. You may not get the spotlight all the time. People may not remember who you are. Honestly, Happy Hogan isn't a hero. He's just a normal person who has this job of carrying the Iron Man suit and driving Tony Stark around. But because he does his job well, it's able to allow Tony Stark to do his job as Iron Man and to save people. So guys, that's the end of the video and the devotional today. I'll see you guys next week. Let's do something really quick. Let's spread the love here. So comment down below, tag the name of your armor bearer, your best friend, your closest friend, that one person who always has your back. I talked about Ian earlier, but since 2013, Raymond, thank you for holding me accountable. Thank you for being one of my armor bearers. And I appreciate everything that you do, bro. Thank you for all the times that you've cooked, your hospitality, all the prayers, and of course, partnering up with me to do children's ministry. Love you, bro. Thank you for that. So guys, I'll see you next time. And take care of yourselves. And God bless you guys.